Hello all, something a bit different today. 23andMe have very kindly sponsored today's video, and with Mother's Day near approaching for our US friends, I thought it would be cool to look into the name Mother and all its variations, and even delve into my own and my mother's own family history with some help from 23andMe. We will get way more into this at the end, but first, let's explain that name. We all have a mother, and while it's something a lot of us take for granted, and any angst-ridden teen will tell you just how annoying they can get sometimes, we should really all just take a moment to think about how much they do for us. So thanks, mothers of the world. We literally wouldn't be here right now without you. Yet despite the day being called Mother's Day, how many people actually call their mother Mother? Referring to my mum as mother just seems a tad odd. Most of the people I know refer to their mother as one of the many shortened variants of the name. But before we look into variations, we should look into that initial name, Mother. The modern English word mother has a lineage dating back to the Proto-Indo-European I'm not even going to attempt to say that. Proto-Indo-European is the ancestor, or mother I should say, to a huge array of modern languages including English, Spanish, Russian, German and Hindi, just to name a few. This means that the name mother in all these languages have similarities, which is understandable, not only for the fact that all these languages come from the same proto-language, but probably due to the fact that the concept of a mother is one of the oldest ideas humanity have, meaning the name would somewhat stay similar across languages, as opposed to something like bread in example, which became a thing after the Proto-Indo-European language started to split into multiple languages. The first name we will all most likely come to call our mothers is mama, because that's all our baby mouths are really able to say. The acquisition of language in kids is super interesting, and if this channel was 100% language and linguistics, it'd be an awesome video to make. But alas, I'm cursed to just talk about names, so let's stick with just one aspect of child language acquisition. Babies first start saying things that we perceive as names and words at around 6 to 12 months. At around this time, babies start babbling. Babbling takes the form of repeated sounds of a consonant followed by a vowel, such as ba 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 ba, ka 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 ka, and na 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 na, which of course leads to babies saying mama mama ma, which humans have led to perceive as their child saying mama as a cute shortened way of saying mother. And while it might melt your heart at your baby finally being able to put into words just who you are, that kid probably has no idea what it's saying. Mummy comes from the Arabic mamaya, which means embalmed body, because obviously they are... Wait, hold on? Sorry, wrong kind of mummy. Mummy is a childish alteration of mammy, mammy itself having an interesting history. While I, being English, see mammy as an Irish term for a mother, mammy is also perceived as an offensive term referring to black women who looked after white children, especially during the time of slavery in the US. It's an interesting example of a word being perceived differently in two different countries that even have the same language. Yet, even here in the British Isles, mummy has shifted in perception from cute to scary in recent years, thanks to the addition of 3 words before it. Are you my mummy? So what about its most common abbreviation, mum? Mum seems to have come into existence from an amalgamation of things. It's a shortened variation of mummy, which comes from mammy, yet it's longer than just ma. It seems to just trace back to all the terms that came before it. Yet mum also has a second meaning, which is to be silent, but more specifically to be silenced with a hand covering your mouth, creating that mumbling sound when you talk. This led to the creation of the phrase mum's the word, which means to keep things on the hush. A phrase that makes so much more sense when you understand this second etymology of the word mum. In this video I have been using a U when spelling mum and mummy, but of course this isn't the way it's spelt across the entire English language. On the whole, Great Britain, Australia and New Zealand use a U, while across the pond mum is spelt with an O, and in Ireland it's spelt with an A. Of course these are only generalisations, as parts of the UK's use mom and mam too. Where do these 3 spelling variations come from? There's still no concrete answer to this question, but some feel the spelling variation comes from different dialects and accents. E.g., if I try saying mam with an American accent, ma'am, it sounds more like I'm saying ma'am. Yet why haven't other words used across the English language changed spelling with dialects? Why don't Americans spell plum with an O, for example? Language can be a beautiful mystery sometimes. So whatever you call the important woman in your life, remember to take the time to appreciate just how much she has done for you. That sounded really Freudian. So once again, thank you for 23andMe for sponsoring this video. The name 23andMe comes from the fact that human DNA is organised into 23 pairs of chromosomes, and their service was created to help people understand their own DNA. You'll be able to see which regions around the world your ancestors come from and learn how your DNA influences many aspects of who you are. 23andMe allows you to experience your DNA in a whole new way. You learn about your ancestry, genetic traits and health through genetic analysis. See how your DNA breaks out globally, discover how much Neanderthal DNA you've inherited, explore genetic similarities with your relatives and even connect with people who share DNA with you. In addition to ancestry, you'll learn about how your DNA impacts your well-being. Ever wondered how your genetics may be impacting your sleep quality or caffeine consumption? Ready to learn how your DNA influences traits like your hair colour or taste preferences? This information about your genetics is at your fingertips through 23andMe. They have also very kindly sent over a trial so I can find out my own family history, which really involves them collecting my saliva in a tube. But this is something I'm actually really looking forward to trying, as despite seeming horrendously British, I actually have a fair mix of heritage in me. My mother is half Maltese and my father is half Irish, so I'll be interested in seeing these results when they're available, and I'll definitely be sharing them with you guys in another video in the near future. But for now, show your support for my show and check out 23andMe by going to www.23andme.com/nameexplain, link in the description down below, and find out what your DNA says about you. So once again, that's www.23andme.com/nameexplain. Thank you.